The man forcefully thrust his hands into the cement ground. Then he muttered a spell. His hands suddenly exerted force. A powerful energy burst forth from the ground. Then the sand transformed into countless war horses. They charged towards the sea with loud neighs. The man clenched his hands again. The war horses leaped over the sails together, instantly righting the stranded ship with ease. Finally, the man dusted off his hands, walking away coolly from the stunned crowd's gaze. He was Jonathan, the last remaining magician in the world. But fame brings trouble. Jonathan's rise to prominence quickly caught the Earl's attention. The Earl proposed to Jonathan to send him to the front line to help the army fight against the enemy. Jonathan, eager to serve his country, accepted immediately. However, unexpectedly, when he and his servant arrived at the battlefield after a long journey, he found himself unwelcome among the soldiers. The general even treated him with indifference, and his only function was to help soldiers read letters from their families. But in casual conversations with the soldiers, he accidentally heard them complaining about the difficult mountain paths. Their newly bought Nike shoes were almost ruined. To prove his worth, Jonathan suddenly had an idea. The next day, he brought his servant to the mountain, casually picked up a stone from the ground, then following the method from the magic book, he began to recite the spell over the stone, but there was no response. He took another breath, and tried the spell again. However, hours later, the stone showed no change at all. He angrily threw down the stone, and was about to turn away. Unexpectedly, the stone split in two as it wobbled. Then the entire mountain began to shake. The two turned around. Countless rocks suddenly burst forth from the mountain, then automatically gathered to form a road, following along the mountainside, extending thousands of miles away. Soon the soldiers walked on the smooth road. The general was very pleased, immediately appointed Jonathan as Merlin the wizard. But what Jonathan didn't expect was, the general seemed to think he was omnipotent, and actually asked him to move an entire forest. But Jonathan explained that forests weren't like stones. They had their own consciousness. Moving them would not be an easy task. However, the general was adamant. Jonathan had no choice but to comply. So the next day, under the soldier's guidance, he found the oldest tree in the forest, because he needed to negotiate its relocation.